here with your weekly forecast for the week of March 18th, 2019. 2019 is not a little kid anymore. It's getting to be an adolescent. We're just about a quarter of the way through, and this week we have a real marker of time in that it is the Aries ingress. That's the beginning of the astrological new year. For those of us in the northern hemisphere, it's the beginning of springtime, and it is the point at which the sun is above the horizon for most of the day. It's a big shift. It's a beginning time. At the same exact time, we have the full moon in Libra, which is the culmination of the lunar cycle. So there's a sort of trade thing going on over here, and that always happens. In my blog post on simultaneous cycles, which will be down at the bottom of the page there. If you go down to the description, I'll have a link to that. You can go there and you can read that blog post, and you can also sign up for the weekly newsletter, which is a good way to get things like the actual precise moon void times, because I don't like to really talk about them on the web. It's a little bit too much detail. Okay, so we start the week with the moon in Leo. We have a good opportunity period for businessy work stuff early on Monday. A very creative energy, a very, you feel authoritative. But then the moon goes void for a big chunk of the day. And with these long moon void times on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it's another reminder not to go too fast. So, Tuesday, we have the energy of the Virgo moon, very precise, aided by Mars trine Pluto. This is really a time when you can do a lot. It's very focused energy. It's very focused for material things. It's a real good time to, sort of repair your watch, if that's a thing that you're good at doing. It is a watchmaker type of energy. It is a time when doing things in the physical world, actually building things, actually working to do some repairs and all, would really work well. Tuesday, very focused energy. We're pretty close to the full moon. People will be a little nuts. And later in the day and into Wednesday, lunar aspects to Mercury and Neptune could fog things out a little bit, and things could get distorted. You could wind up seeing a little too much, or in a situation, make mountains out of molehills. Some folks will do. Not you, but some folks will make mountains out of molehills. Wednesday, that same general vibe continues. We're approaching the full moon with the moon void, of course, all day. What's that like? Well, it's like you're, on the roller coaster, and they bring that bar down, and you begin to move, and you start going up the hill, and you say to yourself, I'm not so sure I wanted to do this, but it's a little too late. That's kind of the energy of Wednesday. Stuff is just sort of flowing on, and we don't have a great deal of ability to make changes for most of the day. The full moon itself is conjunct Chiron. The sun is conjunct Chiron. The moon is opposite. And the sun goes on to meet with Chiron on Friday. So that means that this full moon time, Wednesday through Friday, is characterized by a lot of questions about where we are as individuals and what we're doing that is, on the path of self-determination, versus what are the constraints put on us by relationship, by society in general, by our own expectations, by our sense of the mores of things, the rules of society. Big questions through the mid to end of the week period. Those who are in a relationship may find that this is going to be, they will find that this is a very charged energy. If things are going well for you, the Venus, Jupiter, and Mars aspects that are all kind of mishmash together on Wednesday night into Thursday should provide for a lot of energy. Things are going well. That's a passionate energy. Things are not going so well. Your relationship is in a more vulnerable space. Well, that could be a little bit more rough road for you. If you're not in a relationship, this could be an opportunity period for you. There's, at least stuff is happening. That's always relatively encouraging. Thursday, the energy evens out a little bit. It's a relatively good day. I mean, we're still very close to the full moon, but it's a little bit less jangly than things are on Wednesday. And Friday, I would say more or less the same thing. Maybe internally there's a lot going on, but then the moon goes void and we have a relatively good start to the day. Relatively controlled energies, and then as we get later on Friday, the moon goes void, and it's just a good time to sort of take some time for yourself. Again, it's a good time to just sort of, chill out and do what you want to do. It's a quiet Friday night, or maybe it's not that quiet. Maybe it's, maybe not the grandest of plans, but it's probably a pretty good time. We're still very close to the full moon after all. Probably the better night of the weekend for hanging out is Friday night. Saturday, the moon goes into Scorpio. We spend the weekend with the moon in Scorpio, digging for the facts, digging for the truth, trying to find out what's really going on. And Mercury is conjunct Neptune. Retrograde Mercury conjuncts Neptune. Well, that's the exact opposite of finding out what's really going on. Again, sort of similar to what happens on Tuesday night and Wednesday. It could simply be the matter of we pick up on a few facts and sort of distort them and bend them out of perception a little bit. We don't see clearly what's going on. The Scorpio moon certainly has potential for emotional reactivity. It's supported by pretty good aspects, except when the moon goes into Scorpio on Saturday, well, late on Friday, Saturday, the first thing it does is oppose Uranus. And so exactly where we want security and we want certainty, we are shocked to find that that's not the case. We have some surprises in store, and it's a little uncomfortable sometimes. Again, we're dealing with misinformation. We're looking for security, and we're getting jostled out of the potential for having security. So if you want to know, and you need to know, and you're invested in it emotionally, but you're getting fuzzy data, you could sort of go off, you could go off on a tangent that's really not based in anything. You want to be careful about that. It's a great time for inner work. I would think that with the Sun Chiron aspect on Friday, the weekend is a good time for inner work, to sort of sort things out with yourself, to sort of feel where you feel kind of okay with things. I'm going to be at an astrology conference in Portugal, and I hate to say that I think that the overall vibe for the weekend, Saturday night and Sunday, is one that favors intimate one-to-one connections. Maybe I shouldn't be sorry to say that, huh? Well, anyways, it seems to be one that favors intimate one-to-one connections as opposed to more outgoing group party activities. If that's your plan for the weekend, I would try to get that done on Friday instead. So, the overall sense of things, it's a mishmash of stuff all week long, the highly charged, some really great productivity periods. Early Monday, most of Tuesday, and I would say particularly midday on Friday. Really, really good productivity periods. But there's there's long moon void times and a lot of time during the week when it's better to just sort of sit back and watch what's happening. Don't go hide under your bed. I am not encouraging that. I never am. It's simply the matter that you get different energies to deal with all the time. All right, that's it, and I will see you next week when I record from Portugal. Bye-bye.